Welcome to This Week in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. I'm your host, Lewis Short. In this week's edition, we'll take a look at the past week's games with highlights and stats. We'll also catch up on conference leaders and take a look at the FCS Coaches Top 25 along with the Stats FCS Top 25. And finally, we'll preview the upcoming slate of Missouri Valley Football Conference games as it will be a full slate this coming weekend. The game of the week was the Southern Illinois Salukis traveling to the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, taking on the Memphis Tigers. Southern Illinois went into Memphis hoping to knock off the FBS Tigers in front of a crowd of 41,584. The first drive went well for the Salukis and culminated with a 36-yard pass from Sam Straub to Connor Iwema. This was a 9-play, 78-yard possession, taking a 7-0 lead. The Saluki defense could not hold the Tigers down on their first possession, however, and gave up a touchdown after just 50 seconds, tying the score at 7. The Salukis took the lead back after a 15-play, 73-yard drive with a pass from Straub to Darrell James for 7 yards and the touchdown. The Salukis led 14-7. The Salukis then gave up another touchdown after a 4-play, 75-yard drive. The Tigers took the lead on a field goal, making the score 17-14 Memphis. The Salukis then took the lead once again after a 33-yard pass to Darrell James, and the point after taking a 21-17 lead at the half. Memphis took the lead once again with a touchdown run by Henderson, making the score 24-21, and the Salukis could not recover after this breakdown in the third quarter, even though they did not quit. Let's take a listen to the calls from Mike Reese on the Saluki Radio Network by Learfield.
Third down and 10. There's the snap. Play action. Straub with time. Blasted as he throws to the end zone. Jump ball, Iwema. It looks like he got it. There's a scramble. It's a touchdown. Connor Iwema went up the ladder and got it, Gene. A 36-yard score. And he throws for the end zone, and it is a touchdown with a penalty marker down. Probably pass interference on the Salukis. Sam's looking to throw off play action. Hit as he throws. Caught. Touchdown, Southern. Darrell James caught it in the end zone. It's a 7-yard score for the Salukis. Look into the end zone, throw into the end zone, and it is caught, and it is a touchdown. On the field goal, it's a 35-yarder. The kick is in the air, and he got it, and Memphis has the lead. Fakes, throws far sideline, open, caught by James, breaks the tackle, 15-10. He's going to score. Darrell scores off the right side. Here's Ferguson in shotgun in the Case I Edge red zone from the 15. Got it to Henderson. Stiff arms to the 5 and scores, and that only took a minute 13. Everybody ready. Good snap and spot. Kick is up from 30 yards, and he got it. And they lead it now 27-21. All right, here's the kickoff now by Galdoni. Not as strong as his last one, but still stronger than the first half. He kicked it to the goal line. Pollard to the 10. He's to the 15 to the 20. He's to the 25 to the 30. Markers down. Nearest boundary, 40. He's to the 40. 35-30. He's taking it to the house, but it looks like it's going to come back for an illegal block. All the way back at the 14-yard line. Pollard went 100 yards, and the fireworks go off here. And Savoy for even more
personal
drama.
Foul. Block below the waist. Kicking team, number 19. That penalty was enforced on the kickoff.
Oh, my goodness. Third down and goal from the 1.5-yard line, and they open up the formation some. One running back, Straub to throw, looking left, fade, open, caught it, and it's a touchdown for Southern on the far boundary, and the Salukis get the score to make it 37-30. And he awaits the snap. And here it is. Hand the ball off to the goal line for a touchdown. Easy. Went in untouched from 7 yards out.
The Salukis were able to get some running, but it was difficult for them to get to the outside. The Salukis were able to gain 103 yards on 37 attempts, averaging 2.8 yards per rush. The defense gave up 176 yards on 36 carries, averaging 4.9 yards per rush. Passing was good for the Salukis, where they had 290 yards net passing. Sam Straub was 30 of 49 with one interception. Average completion was 9.7 yards, and he also threw for 4 touchdowns. The Salukis had 393 yards of total offense on 86 plays. They also had 7 penalties for 56 yards. For Memphis, they had 176 yards rushing on 36 attempts with 2 rushing touchdowns. Memphis also had 288 yards of passing on 22 of 36 with no interceptions. Total yardage for Memphis was 464 yards on 72 plays. They had 8 penalties for 90 yards. The Salukis were 10 of 20 on third down conversions, while Memphis was 5 of 12. The Salukis were also 3 of 4 on fourth down conversions, while Memphis attempted their only fourth down conversion, and it was good. The Memphis Tigers defeated the Salukis of Southern Illinois 44-31. The 2-1 Salukis will open conference action in Carbondale Saturday at 6, taking on the Panthers of Northern Iowa. Western Illinois versus Coastal Carolina. The Leathernecks traveled to Conway, South Carolina to take on the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. The number 19 Leathernecks took it to the Chanticleers after trailing going into the second quarter 10-7. Sean McGuire passed 19 yards to Brandon Gaston to take a 14-10 lead, which turned out to be the game winner. But Western Illinois then scored 6 more touchdowns after taking that lead and held Coastal Carolina scoreless for the rest of the game. Western Illinois had 21 first downs and rushed for 225 yards on 37 carries. Coastal Carolina had 170 yards rushing on 35 carries. The Leathernecks had 285 yards passing while holding the Chanticleers to 137 yards. Total offense for the Leathernecks was 510 yards with 3 penalties for 35 yards. The Chanticleers fumbled twice, losing 1, and had 7 penalties for 77 yards. Western Illinois was 4 of 8 on third down conversions, while Coastal Carolina was 3 of 11 on third downs and 0-2 on fourth down conversions. Western Illinois takes down the Chanticleers by a score of 52-10 to move to 3-0 in non-conference action, and they open Valley football, taking on South Dakota in Macomb at 3. Robert Morris versus North Dakota State. 2-1 Robert Morris of the Northeast Conference paid a visit to the Fargo Dome, hoping to knock off the number 2 team in the country in North Dakota State. But they were unable to get anything going and was behind in the first quarter 35-0. Lance Dunn was the Colonial killer this week as he had 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. Trey Dempsey and Bruce Anderson also had touchdowns in the first quarter, putting the game away early for the Bison. Let's listen to some of the key plays from Jeff Colhane of the Bison Radio Network.
Stick under center. Here's the give. Right side. Dunn bounces to the outside. There goes Lance into the open field. To the 30. To the 20. Sir Lance. One of the lots. To the end zone. Touchdown. Barr in the shotgun. Receiver left. Receiver right. Barr takes a snap. A toss to Trayer. There's a fumble. The ball's loose. The Bison have it at the 6-yard line. Ilias, the tight end to the left. Option to the right side. The pitch to Dunn. Lowers the shoulder. Reaches out. Touchdown. The option to the short side lands Dunn, his second touchdown of the day. Rolling right, under pressure, throws it out, picked off, intercepted, 15, 10, 5, brought in there, Trey Dempsey. Touchdown! Takes the snap, here's the handoff to Neal, has a little room, left side, fumble, the ball is loose, the Bison have it! Jabril Cox with the fumble recovery. Play action, stick rolling left, fires the flat pass, caught Robbins, 10, 5, he's knocked out at the 2. Power eye, handoff, Bruce. Leads his way in there. Touchdown! Bruce Anderson. It is all green and gold, folks. 27-0. Stick in the throat. Has a man caught. Ilias 20. Shakes a tackle. 15, 10. And down near the 6-yard line. Second and goal. Takes a snap. Links it out in the flat. Caught by Dunn. Cutting back towards the middle. Now working towards the outside. Oh, baby, what a move by Lance Dunn. In there for his 3rd touchdown of the day. Stick trying to get away. He's going to run it. 30, 25, dives forward, has the first down. Takes the snap, going to throw it left side, looking back, corner has a man. Caught. Archie. Touchdown. Dunn is the tailback in the I formation. The handoff to Dunn. Has an alley. There goes Lance. Let's see if he puts on the afterburners. He's at the 5. In there. End zone. Touchdown. touches the football. It's 6. Davis throws it down the seam. Pass is caught. 25-yard line. And that's Daniel Polanski with his second career catch. Zone read. Davis going to keep it around the outside. 10, 5, dives. Touchdown. Cole Davis with his first career rushing touchdown. Rolling right is Barr. Barr will throw it on the run. Picked off by Hendricks. Intercepted his second of the year. Now Hendricks all the way to the far sideline. Trying to find room. There's a flag on the play.
The North Dakota State defense held Robert Morris to just 4 first downs in the game, while the Bison had 21 first downs. The Bison had 260 yards rushing, while holding the Colonials to 44 yards rushing on 24 carries. Passing for the Colonials was even more frustrating, as they were only 3 of 16 against the Bison, with 2 interceptions for a total passing yardage of 13. The Bison were 15 of 24 with no interceptions and 190 yards passing. Total offensive yardage for the Colonials was 57, while the Bison had a total of 450 yards total offense. The Colonials were 0 of 9 on third down conversions, while the Bison were 10 of 17 on third downs and 1 of 2 on fourth down. The final score was North Dakota State 56, Robert Morris nothing. Number 2, North Dakota State opens Valley play, traveling to Ohio for a 7 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff against the number 5 Penguins of Youngstown State. Illinois State versus Missouri State. The Redbirds and the Bears opened up Valley play on Saturday in Springfield, Missouri. The game started slowly as the Bears opened up with a 3-play, 75-yard drive, scoring a touchdown, but having an extra point blocked, making the score 6-0. Sean Slattery for the Redbirds made it 6-3 with a 48-yard field goal with 10 seconds left in the first quarter. At the 1:18 mark of the second quarter, Slattery tied the game with a 28-yard field goal. The game was tied up at 6 at the half. In the third quarter, the Redbirds opened the game up with 4 touchdowns. Markel Smith scored on a 6-yard run and an extra point by Slattery. James Robinson then had 8-yard scoring run with a PAT by Slattery. And to finish out the scoring in the third quarter, it was Anthony Fowler on a 28-yard pass from Jake Colby with the PAT by Slattery. With 52 seconds left in the game, Zach Drake for the Bears hit a 28-yard field goal. Let's listen to Dick Ludke of the Illinois State Redbirds radio network from Learfield Sports.
Curry in motion. He gets the handoff on the jet sweep and is tackled from behind for a loss. That's Adam Conley. A running back on each side of Colby, one of whom goes in motion. Jake gets it, drops, looks, throws long. That's Fowler. He's got it. Flag thrown. Fowler in the end zone. Touchdown, Redbirds. Touchdown, Redbirds. The running back is Robinson, or Smith, who gets outside at the 5. He's at the 2. He's in. And it is a touchdown, Illinois State. And the Birds double up the lead, or double up the score. They now lead 12-6 over Missouri State. First and goal at the 7 as Colby under center. Fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right. He might be able to run it in. He's going to try at the 5. In he goes, untouched. And the Redbird lead balloons to 26-6. Inside the 10 for the Birds at about the 8. A wide each way, one of whom is in motion back toward the middle to give to the running back at the 5. Diving, it's Robinson into the end zone. Another Illinois State score, and the Birds elevate the lead to 19-6. The running back is Robinson, or Smith, who gets outside at the 5. He's at the 2. He's in. And it is a touchdown, Illinois State, and the Birds double up the lead, or double up the score. They now lead 12-6 over Missouri State. Inside the 10 for the Birds at about the 8. A wide each way, one of whom is in motion back toward the middle to give to the running back at the 5. Diving, it's Robinson into the end zone. Another Illinois State score, and the Birds elevate the lead to 19-6. First and goal at the 7 as Colby under center. Fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right. He might be able to run it in. He's going to try at the 5. In he goes, untouched, and the Redbird lead balloons to 26-6.
Taking a look at some of the conference leaders, North Dakota State leads the league in offensive scoring with 23 touchdowns, 2 field goals, 22 extra points, and 1 safety. They have scored 168 points in 3 games. North Dakota State also leads the leads the conference in 3 games in scoring defense. They have given up just 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, 2 extra points, for a total of just 20 points given up on the season in this young season. Passing offense. South Dakota leads the league in pass offense. They have attempted 95 passes, completed 63 for a yardage total of 873. North Dakota State leads the league in pass defense, allowing only 20 completions on 68 attempts. They've given up just 236 yards passing this season. Let's take a look at some of the individual stats now. Lance Dunn of North Dakota State leads the league with 29 carries for 401 yards and 8 touchdowns. Eli Dunn of Northern Iowa leads the league in passing. He's 75 of 126 with 6 interceptions for 871 yards and 8 touchdowns. Jaquette McClendon of Indiana State leads in receiving with 17 receptions for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bob Pugh of Indiana State leads the league in receiving with 10 receptions and 307 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chris Streveler of South Dakota leads the league in total offense with 229 yards rushing and 840 yards passing for a total of 1,069. And Lance Dunn of North Dakota State leads the league in scoring with 54 points. Top 25. Taking a look at the FCS Coaches Poll, Top 25, the Missouri Valley once again has 7 teams in the top 25. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the entire top 25 and fill you in where those Valley teams are. At number 1 is James Madison. The Valley's North Dakota State is at number 2. Number 3, Sam Houston State. Number 4, the Valley's South Dakota State. Number 5, there's a tie between Jacksonville State and Youngstown State. We'll call Youngstown State the number 6 team in the country, once again, from the Valley. Number 7, Wofford. Number 8 is Eastern Washington. Illinois State is tied for 8, just below Eastern Washington, so we'll call them number 9. Number 10 is South Dakota. Number 11, the Citadel. Number 12, Central Arkansas. 13, North Carolina A&T. 14, New Hampshire. 15, Richmond. Number 16 is Western Illinois. Number 17 is Villanova. 18, Weber State. 19, Grambling State. 20, Northern Iowa. 21, Tennessee Martin. 22 is Albany. 23 is Samford. 24, Tennessee State. And number 25, McNeese. Dropping out of the top 25 was last week's number 19, North Dakota, number 23, Nicholls State, and number 25, Holy Cross. In the stats, top 25, 6 teams are in the poll, with them being number 2, North Dakota State, number 4, South Dakota State, number 6, Youngstown State, number 13, South Dakota, 14 is Illinois State, and 19 is Western Illinois. Northern Iowa and Southern Illinois received votes in the stats top 25. Games this week. The Bison of North Dakota State opened the doors to the Fargo Dome to welcome the Bears of Missouri State at 1 p.m. The Leathernecks host the Coyotes of South Dakota at 3. The Northern Iowa Panthers travel to Carbondale to take on the Salukis. The Jackrabbits hop into Youngstown State to take on the Penguins at 7. And the Trees of Indiana State take root in Normal to take on the Redbirds of Illinois State at 7:30. The game of the week this week will be the Jackrabbits and the Penguins. That's going to be our game of the week. We'll have a complete breakdown of that game next week. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lewis Short.